Hello, good evening. Good evening. How are you today?
And how about you?
I'm also good. Thank you for asking. You're connecting from Arunachal Pradesh, right? If I remember correctly.
No, no, I am from Assam.
Assam. Right, right. I remember the Northeast region, but I forgot the place. So, yeah, it's been
Yes.
quite some time that we had our last session.
Yes, yes. And you were off for some days, I think.
Right. Actually, I was not keeping well the previous week. This week, I have taken a lot of classes, but yeah, in the previous week, I did not open my slots for a few days. Right.
Yes.
Okay, so today's session is all about the kind of values that we value. Let's understand something about Indian values. So, what are some of the core values that are important to you and why?
Core values like trustworthiness, loyalty, and respect for elders. So trustworthiness, I think it's value. It's important for me because if I don't have trustworthiness or the integrity, if I don't have that integrity, so our relationship will never thrive.
Hmm,
So at any moment it may be uh, affected.
right.
So we have to be loyal. We have to be trustworthy, or we have to
Okay.
that kind of value that is integration like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to point out about this word. So, do we say integrity or do we say integrity?
Okay. I say integrity. I don't know whether it is correct or not.
It is the wrong pronunciation. Please repeat.
Okay.
Integrity.
Integrity. Okay.
When you're
Integrity.
saying this word, just give me one word, 1 minute. How do you pronounce this now?
Integrate.
Right. And this word,
Integration.
right. These two sounds are absolutely fine. But the first word, we don't say integrity, it's integrity.
Integrity. Okay.
Okay, it's the slight
Okay.
difference in pronunciation. Right. So you spoke this answer well. I like the way you grouped and I like the way you presented your thoughts about it. Now, the next question. So, have any of your values evolved or changed over time? And what is it that really contributed to these changes?
Yeah. So when I was young, so the kind of respect that people be given, I did not have that values in me
Okay.
because I always judge people with their social status
Hmm.
or the people whether they're poor or on caste basis like this.
Hmm.
But gradually, when I grew up, I realized that this is not the kind of thing that I should inculcate in my values.
Hmm.
And when I meet other people, when I got to know from them,
When I
that's
meet or
how I
when I
de-
meet other people.
that when I realized and I changed myself,
Hmm.
my thoughts, etc., about others. So I always believe that people should be treated equally, no
Right.
matter what who they are.
Right, right. Okay, so what factors contributed to you evolving your thinking pattern like this?
Factors like when I was treated by someone who was out of my league,
So
and I
when I was treated badly.
when I was treated badly by others
Hmm,
who were out of my leagues and they
right,
thought I am not at par with them, then I realized how others will feel if I treat them in
hmm,
that way.
right,
So that's how I realized and
right,
changed that factors acted.
right. So that really motivated you to have that change over time. Okay, so
Yes.
discuss the role of education in shaping values.
Yeah, education has a very great role to play in shaping values among us
Hmm,
because education are given in institutions, schools, and colleges where values are inculcated by the tutors, like
Right.
discipline and the honesty that one should have, with,
Right.
like moral values. So all
Absolutely.
these things are uh, imparted. These knowledge are important in schools and other educational institutions,
Mm,
and that's they shape the values in us. The particularly the discipline.
mm,
I think in schools and colleges, not college actually, but in schools,
mm.
disciplines is one thing is one can learn from school.
Right. Just give me 1 minute. I'm writing down two sentences for you. I have now sent it. So please tell me what is the error in the first one?
Okay, the first one, no? Okay, so first one, I think education is given in institutions.
Right. So while you were speaking, you did say education are. Okay.
Mm, mm, mm.
So maybe this error is occurring like a slip. So this happens. So this is not, you know, the concept. You were not stating this error each time, but sometimes some error occur as slip in our tone. Okay. So this is, I would classify it under that category. Okay. Not a systemic error, but error occurring as a slip in our tone. Then the next one. So this is the same kind of error. Please identify what is the error in this.
So I think the S will not be there in discipline.
Right. So whenever we talk about any uncountable noun like water, hair, discipline, right? So these are all uncountable nouns, right? So we would not be adding that s with it. Okay.
Yes,
Right. So the same kind of error,
like
right?
yeah, like information.
Absolutely. Right. I think
Yes.
I must have discussed this in the previous session. Like if we really want to be specific with, let's say, plural form of information, so what can I say for it?
A piece of information or
Absolutely.
information. Yeah.
A piece of information, two pieces of information, or some pieces of information, we can say it like that, right? And same goes with advice. So advice is also uncountable, so you can say a piece of advice or pieces of advice, two pieces I would like to give you two pieces of advice, three pieces of advice, we can say it like that. Okay. Now the next question. So how can schools and educational institutions instill important values in students?
By inculcating the things like you should be honest while dealing with others
Hmm.
and the moral values. So it is all about inculcating and repeating. And if somebody, I mean, some students may make mistakes
Hmm.
and they are corrected by the tutors.
Right.
So while correcting them, they say about the values, they give examples, the teachers to the
Hmm.
students, and then the students can understand and they know the difference and what impact there will be if they do the wrong thing instead of being honest.
Hmm.
So that's how they are they are given the what to say, they are
They can, these
taught,
values
they are.
can be, yeah, they are taught, we can say. Okay. Hmm.
So this is all about, I think, inculcating the values in them.
Right.
That's
Right. Okay. So in this answer, don't you think you could have used those words of addition which we discussed in the previous session?
yes.
Hmm.
I always forget.
Right. So no worries. Now that we have rectified it, like I felt like you could have used those very easily in this one, right? So in the next answer, try to recognize, acknowledge the use of it, please. Okay. Right. So have you ever had to compromise on your principles in any situation in life?
Compromise, so far I remember when I was in working person, so while dealing with my official work, sometimes it so
Hmm.
happened that I wrote a note about a particular subject, how I should, how the things will go about it, how we should
Hmm.
initiate, and who are the people will be involved in that particular work.
Hmm.
So it so happened when the notes went to the higher authorities, they did not like it. They want to
They
change
wanted
it.
to.
They wanted to change it. So,
Okay.
but what happened? The actual work procedure is like that. If I put some notes to my higher authorities, if they do not agree with
Hmm.
the things that I have written down,
Hmm.
they should correct it and they give their opinion in that note.
Hmm.
But instead of doing that, my higher authority asks me to change the note.
Oh, okay.
So, so under the pressure, you can say, because the authority higher when you work, sometimes we have to compromise. Even though
Right.
I was not in favor of doing that, I
Hmm.
had to do under compulsion.
Right. Right. Okay. Right. So yeah, it does teach us about something, being in a pressurizing kind of situation, and having to compromise on it. So it's not a nice feeling, but sometimes we're bound to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So is it possible for people with polar? Sorry, just a second. Yeah. So is it possible with people, for people with polar opposite upbringings and values to be good friends? Polar opposite. What do you understand by it?
Yeah, I got it.
Polar opposite
I think
upbringing.
uh, I think it will be very difficult to go get along with two people who
With
are
two
opposite
contrasting personalities.
contrasting personalities. Yes,
Mm.
because always there will be a clash or what it is called. Mm, wha- uh, I just forgot this thing. Interest, clashing of interest like that. There is one
Clash of interest, right? We can say it
clash.
like that.
Yeah. So it will always be there.
Hmm.
So how long they can go like this? So
Right.
there is every possibility they will end up doing arguments, and sometimes it may go out of proportion and blow out of
Hmm.
proportion, and they may end their relationship also. So if
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
relationship is to thrive, who are poles apart, so each of them have to each of them
Hmm.
has to compromise uh, on some occasions. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to be friends who are
Right.
poles apart when it comes to values.
Right. Right. So, what are certain age-old practices and beliefs that must come to an end in today's era?
Immediately, it comes to my mind this caste system, particularly in India, in rural areas,
Okay.
it is very prevalent. And for this, people are
Hmm.
suffering a lot, who are particularly the low caste people. And I
Yeah.
think it's very necessary to dispense with all these kind of systems.
Mhm. Right. Right. Apart from this, anything else?
What else? The patriarchy system that have in our country, because we
Hmm.
don't see our female counterpart at par.
Hmm.
So this is a belief that they are not equal to their male
Right.
counterpart. So that beliefs
Right.
has to be changed.
Hmm. That beliefs or those beliefs?
Those those beliefs
Right. Those beliefs has to be changed or have to be changed.
have to be changed.
Right. Okay. Then is there anything that we should stick by? Like you just talked about something that should must come to an end. So what is that one thing that should actually continue to go on when it comes
The
to these
culture
values?
that we have in India, that we respect our elders, which is
Right.
not when we think about the Western countries,
Hmm.
the parents are not looked
Right.
after by their uh, children at
Hmm.
old age.
Right.
So I think India has these things, the respect for their elders, their parents, and they look after when they are old. So these things should be there,
Hmm.
and nowadays it is happening in our country also. So that's why many old age homes are mushrooming in our country, and
Right, right.
that should not be the case in our actually.
Hmm. Right, right. Okay, so yes, I like the way you interact. I like the way you present your thoughts. You actually use a lot of advanced words with a lot of ease. Like the female's counterpart are not at par. So the sentence was good. A lot of old age homes are mushrooming, you said. So good use of vocabulary you display in your content. So that's good. Please continue with the same kind of figurative use of language. Only thing, transition wise, also you're good. Okay, but just try to incorporate those words which we earlier discussed in the previous session.
Yes,
Apart from that, I would say that when you're beginning to answer, your answers are really good, but I think we can improve on the introduction part a little as well. Okay,
yes,
like when I'm saying what ways can be utilized in school institutions to to inculcate values among students. So you simply started by saying by doing so and so, right? So you can say one of the ways in which this can be inculcated is, so this provides that good flow or good start to our content, right? So please focus a little on the introduction part and also the linkers that we discussed in the previous session. So it's not like you're not using it all, but less used is there. Yes, is there. Okay.
yes.
Right. So I'll end the class here. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.